Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Sparrow,
I'm Roxy.
And I'm Yellow.
and we're all adults.
Cool. So today's episode is going to be about polyamory. It's specifically about polyamory in or dating in a polyamorous society. So, for reference, I identify as bisexual and I am in a long term and open relationship.
Roxy is definitely straight, and I'm in a long term committed, not open relationship.
I am a straight male.
Are you dating anybody? Are you single pringling?
Oh, I'm currently single.
Hmm. For the streets, huh?
I am for the streets at the moment. I've had a lot of street moments, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just start off there, Sparrow for the streets.
Sparrow is for the streets. That's today.
That'd be such a great marquee moment. Like if you
God.
drive by like Plaza Atlanta and you see it like in the covers, I'm like, wow.
For the streets.
I wonder what that indie film is about.
Right. Sparrow is for the streets.
Okay. So before we kind of start, I kind of want to ask, what do you guys think polyamory is, or how do you want to how do you view it? I guess is the best way. So we'll go down the line and then I'll read off the actual definition so we can kick off our conversation.
I guess I would say that is basically like having relationships with multiple people. I hear the word. This is actually my first time actually hearing the word polyamory. Polyamory.
Polyamory.
Polyamory. Okay. I just know the word, don't judge me, like polygamy. So that's why I'm just kind of like poly. I guess they're the same thing, but
So,
that's what I know.
real quick, polygamy is the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time.
Wait, okay. So that is like what's illegal in America, right?
No, that's what Mormons do.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
This is like a whole okay.
Yeah, so that's a whole different thing because I believe for them it's a religious practice, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I know it's common in their
Society.
Okay. So you can
Yeah.
have more than one. You can marry more than one person in America.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's a religious view. So.
Okay, genuinely didn't know that.
Sparrow, what do you think polyamory is?
I just think it's having relationships with multiple people. It doesn't necessarily have to be like sexual. Sometimes it could just be about filling certain needs. But yeah, that's what I think
Cool.
about it.
So, just for reference for anyone listening who doesn't know, the dictionary definition is of polyamory is the practice of engaging in multiple romantic and typically sexual relationships with the consent of all people involved.
Mm.
So, I think since I'm kind of the only person who's kind of somewhat here and in that space, I'll kind of kick off. So I am in a open relationship. It is a long-term relationship. I've been with my partner for almost a decade now. Not quite. We're still a couple years shy, but we're getting there. I know. Thank you. Clap,
Yeah,
clap,
clap for that. 10
Right?
years?
So
That's
that
still
commitment.
amazing. That's commitment,
Look,
regardless.
look,
So,
Yeah.
peace and blessings to you.
Thanks. So I'm definitely in that adventure. It is not. You know what? I'm gonna start it off like this. We're gonna really like go in. Oh, I hope that. Before people kick off, there are a couple of different types of polyamory, a couple of different ways that it comes about. So, being a member of the LGBTQ family, it's a little bit more common to hear about like people in open relationships or non-monogamous relationships, but there are different levels, different rules. So, I won't go into too much detail. If you're curious, listeners, you can always do a little bit of research and find out. There are a lot of different options. It's really about making sure that you are open and honest with the people around you, and making sure that you're respectful of maintaining those different relationships. This is not a sex for all situation. This really has to do with being mindful and respectful of other people and being able to enjoy that time and space that you share with them. So that's my little 2 cents before we get into all the questions from our other hosts and like what it's like to be in this environment. I'm gonna let Roxy kick it off.
Okay, so I guess my first question will be like, what? How did that get introduced to you? Like, were you always for it, or did you kind of have to warm up to the idea?
Okay, so I had to warm up to the idea.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's listening from the first episode, then you know that like I Yellow was definitely a lot more conservative in my upbringing and definitely very hesitant to do anything starting out. And for all intents and purposes, the word late bloomer really applies here. But I will say it was introduced to me by somebody else, and I did have to warm up to the idea. I was definitely one of those people that was like head over heels about the idea of like marrying and being with one person forever. Until I really had to like sit down and think about how we have relationships with other people. I think that over the course of your lifetime, if people aren't married, they tend to have multiple boyfriends or significant others, and that in and of itself is kind of an indication that we are not a monogamous society anyways. And I would rather enjoy someone else's company open and honestly and have that relationship and trust with my partner than be deceitful about what I'm doing. And that's not to say if I was in a monogamous relationship, I would definitely honor and respect that and I would be committed like and you know, like I don't want to be the person ever who cheats or does any of that, but I think polyamory definitely opens the doors to do different things, but it is hard. I am going to put that out there. It is difficult to have that much trust and honesty with another human being, and that does not come lightly. So, hope that answers your question. I feel like I kind of like rambled a little bit.
I feel like I have like a barrel of questions, but
It's
I'll
okay. We
let
just keep
Sparrow
pulling them
take it
out.
No,
away.
go ahead and pop it off.
It's just like, do you honestly feel like you got into the poly lifestyle because you were so for this person that introduced you to it?
No, no.
Okay.
So in the
Curveball.
I think
Curveball.
it was definitely something I had to think about a long time. Like I think that like this is gonna be like kind of a long-winded answer, and I'm sorry. Coming out was such an experience on its own, and it really challenged the ideas of what I thought my life was going to look like. That by the time the idea of an open relationship or polyamory got introduced to me, I I was really kind of ready to try something different. I was like, whatever has been happening isn't working because there's so much out there, and I feel like I'm still so young. Like I want the option.
Gotcha.
I want the option. Like if I don't have it, I get it. That's fine, but I definitely had to build to it and figure out like, am I comfortable with this? Is this something that I really want? Do I feel pressured or not? Like, and ultimately it came down to like really sitting down and realizing like I want to be able to experience people in multiple ways and not feel bad about it, not feel ashamed about it, and just really build honest relationships with them. Because I feel like no matter where you are in life, even if you're in like a long term marriage or whatever, there's gonna be a time that someone pops up in your life that you're just like, I think I like you. And you feel that like elementary school, like bubbly feeling in your stomach. You're like, get excited and whatever, and you like start to crush on them. And that's so natural. Why wouldn't I like give myself the chance to be able to explore that?
No, I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Have you ever had any sort of polyamorous introduction or experience?
My first polyamorous exploration was currently, I was on Tinder during the pandemic like anybody else. I met a girl who clearly said she was poly. And I was just like, you know what? At this point in my life, I'm single. I ain't got shit to lose. Let me see what this is about. And at the point, it's like, I do kind of see it as a way, it's just like, hey, I vibe with you, you vibe with me. maybe I don't fulfill all your needs because also my life is kind of taxing. I'm not gonna lie. I live a very difficult life. I'm always going out, I'm always doing shit, I'm always busy. I'm not able to fulfill the needs of every single person at any single time. It's like if you have a committed relationship, you have to be able to fulfill all those needs.
Do you think that's true? Like, you said that you have to be so much, like, you have to do everything for this other person. Is that who you are in a relationship? That you try to be like their lover and their best friend and like that support and providing companion? Because that's a lot of titles to carry.
I'm a Cancer, so like myself personally feels that I do have to be that for my person. If I am like on a one-on-one situation, I feel like I do have to be able to provide for everything. I have to be your best friend, I have to be your lover, I have to be your sexual deviant, I have to be like everything for you.
I'm going to come in on the opposite. I am also a Cancer, and I don't think that's true. My partner was one of my best friends when I met her. We were super close, we got along great. It was a true and honest friendship. Now that we've been in this long enough, if someone asks me, I'm like, she is my partner, she is my like life person that I am committed to, and like, yes, like my lover and all of these things, but I don't want to maintain the same relationship with her as I do my best friend. Because in the same way that like I need to cultivate this, I don't feel like I can ask you to be everything for me when I cannot be that for you. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure that I think we put on ourselves that's not necessary. Like me and my best friend, if I call my best friend at 3 o'clock in the morning, she's like, okay, what fuck shit's happening today? Where are we going? What are we doing? Etc. Insert good but also bad decisions, right? Like all the support, whatever. My partner supports me, needless to say, no matter what. But like you can't complain about your partner to your partner and have those vent sessions. If you're gonna do that, you're about to get into a like deep, intense conversation. We do a lot of fun stuff and hang out and things, but like she is my partner because we have leveled up past this friendship. Like we are having conversations beyond what I would have with my best friend, and not because it's like I wouldn't have talk about the same things with my friends as I do my partner, but because there is a deeper understanding there.
Hmm. No, I totally get that. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it becomes about. It just becomes a thing about communication. It's like, how can I get this through you? And how can I be like, I'm open about this and I want to go still go do this and I want to experience this because I only have one life. You know, I expect that different people can offer me different experiences and that's a real thing. There's no way around that. It's just different people will offer you different experiences because what one partner might be closed minded to, the other partner might be completely open to. It goes back into the sex talk where it's just like some people will be completely cool with you like slapping and spitting on them, but some people won't be cool with that. And if the vanilla person can't fulfill those needs for you, sometimes you still want to get those needs fulfilled, and somebody else can do that for you. Like,
Okay, good food for thought, you know. I'll let it like marinate for a minute before I like dive back into that. Roxy, what about you? I know you said you're like just finding out about polyamory and haven't really heard much about it. Do
I
you think you'd ever try it?
I think I for the longest I got it confused with polygamy. I hate to be this person. You guys did just have two different, you know, opinions. I'm going to be that person who says I am not for it for me.
that's fine. That's perfectly
Because
okay.
everybody likes different people and that's fine. But I see as far as me and the guys that I have dealt with and the guys that I see myself attracted to. For you to kind of go that route, it's kind of like the guys that I have found myself dealing with. You only have one barber.
Okay, yo, you got it on that.
Yep. You have one soap you like to use, one deodorant that you like to use all the time. You like these certain pair of clippers. Like you perfect like you like your hair cut this way. You have like your one favorite pair of shoes. But then when we get to women, it's like, oh wait. So I found like now if it's like a guy that's maybe different, I'll pick up on that because that has happened to me too. This is weird. I've dealt with a guy where I felt like he kind of was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't judging him. I just found myself naturally unattracted to it. Because I said, oh, you like everything. And my body naturally is just like, like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I just feel like, as far as for me and the people that I like, I don't want to say it's like a cultural thing because all black people are different. But it's just like, I found that, yeah, like the guys that I deal with, they like things done a certain way. Like, so it's just like, as far as women, I don't think it's fair for you to get that whole, that's when you get to pick and choose. And then I have found it where I have kind of had that conversation, but then when it was like flipped, it was like, oh, wait, so you can't do it too type thing. Like, I haven't had like the best experience with it. And I feel like if we're talking about horoscopes, I'm a Leo and I can be whoever you want me to be.
Yeah,
So
that's fair enough, though. I'll give you that one.
that's what I will say.
But in terms of like you having these conversations and then feeling like that same trust and openness couldn't have been reciprocated, do you think you would have changed or tried it at some? Let me rewind. You already said it doesn't appeal to you, so I'm not even going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would be a little more appealing as an ideology to you, not as something that you'd want to do, but just like the idea of it, if someone was trusting of you the way you were trusting of them?
I completely get the idea of it and why people do it. I completely get like how people say humans cannot be monogamous and we're mammals. Animals, they don't have just one sex. They don't have just one sex partner. Like we got animals fucking all over the place. We got crossbreeds. Cool.
Yeah,
But when we get into it, we're making what? We're making airplanes and we're yes, there's Mother Earth, but outside of Mother Earth, everything that's on it, we've built it. So nothing's like a natural disaster that is like kind of a joy to us, like a joy that is like, like that's just like joyful video games, like all the stuff that we enjoy that's just like not, something that you don't pay attention to, like the sun. All this stuff, we've made it. So I kind of feel like, as far as like for me, I feel like that's the part that I don't have time for. And then there's just the part of, okay, as people who participate in poly, that's fine. But as like humans, I feel like what I'm going to say, not everybody's going to agree with. But poly, if you're truly poly, I accept you as one of the chosen good people. Most of the world is not that way. Like, if you're truly poly, that means that you are like really open. Like, in me talking to you, I believe that like the energy you give me, I feel it. But I feel like I've interacted, not like sexually or whatever, just in general. I've moved around a lot because I'm a military child. Being around all different types of people, it's just kind of like majority of like the world. It's not 50% good, 50% bad, or whatever spectrum you want to put it on. But as far as like, if you're honestly something, go you. But most of the world, they're kind of like all over the place. So it's just kind of like, So that's how I feel about that, which is why I don't get down with it.
So, Roxy, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you possibly feel like poly is a nice way of saying I'm going to cheat on you?
With the guys I'm used to, like with the guys that I find myself attracted to. Like, I really believe that if you're poly, then bitch, you gotta be poly. Like, I really believe, like, if that is what you are, then be that. It's not like I just find it different, like, with like people that I find myself attracted to. It's not like, it's more of I want to sleep with other people. It's not like you guys have been saying, it's not I want to enjoy other people. It's strictly I want to fuck other people. It's the most shallowest being of, oh no, I'm not trying to like have a real connection with somebody else.
But there are those moments.
There
of
are
just,
those
I
people,
just want to
though.
fuck
But
whoever
that's
this
all.
person is.
Like,
I feel
whenever I've
like
been hit
there's
with
just
that.
like good things and bad things to everything. There is good people that put poly in a good place. Like you said, is those people like
Hmm.
if they're truly poly and they're about poly, then yes, like all good for them. But there's those people that use that kind of way as manipulation.
Yeah.
And to say, hey, I'm poly, but really I'm just trying to fuck as many people as I can because that's what I enjoy. And
Oh,
that's okay because if they
that
enjoy
is okay.
sex and they enjoy just fucking other people, then good for you. There's people like that. Not everybody's gonna be like, oh, I want to fall in love and like this is that and be with one person.
I guess what I'm. I guess it's just like I'm just or haven't been given that experience of someone or seeing someone be all the way openly honest with a whole just sex version of things. Like I feel like as we've gotten older, yeah, but still no. It's just kind of like
That's fair.
somewhere in the rims, you're gonna find some fuck shit.
Of
Like
course.
somewhere in
Of
the
course.
rims. And if we're going to be having sex with multiple people involving juices, oh yeah, there's condoms. Condoms break. Oh yeah, there's birth control. What if she didn't take her pill that day? Like nothing's 100%.
That's fair.
So it's just like if you're not like ready to possibly share your entire life with me, if something goes wrong, because 1% out of billions of people seems pretty regular. I could see it happening a lot. So
No,
it's
I
just
agree.
kind of like, if you're not ready for that, then it just kind of, I just don't, it doesn't get my juices flowing. It's something that I'm not attracted to. It's just like, I want to make sure that you know what you're talking about before you bring it to me. And I haven't been in that position.
So I'm gonna jump in real quick and put in a couple of tidbits. For like reference on my experience, I and like any person who starts and having an open relationship or a polyamorous relationship, whatever that means, whether you decide you want to do thruples, polyamorous dating, open relationship, a don't ask, don't tell situation, like whatever it is that you decide, you have to be ready to figure out what your boundaries are.
Mm-hmm.
And like that is not something that just comes up automatically. Like some
Yeah.
people really already know like what they don't and do and don't like and what they're like capable of doing. But I think the biggest thing to acknowledge is that this is something that's going to a certain extent, it's gonna, your ego is going to come into play. Like
Mm-hmm.
jealousy is so natural. So like even if you're in this space and yeah, it's healthy and happy and you're talking and like working through shit, there are still going to be those shitty moments of, well, you spent the night somewhere the other night and I really wanted to spend that night with you instead. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and having to like sit there and acknowledge like, well, you needed space, so I gave you space. Or moments of like, even though you want to cultivate other relationships, like maybe you do just want to fuck someone. Maybe you only fuck them once, maybe you fuck them a couple times. Maybe you decide like you've gone out for a while with somebody and you want to have like a second boyfriend or girlfriend. Like those are all things that come into play. And rather than like put like a solid line in the sand, I think it's important to remember that when we're talking about polyamory, it's so broad. It's You really have to be willing to hear what people are and are not willing to do and how much you're willing to have those honest conversations. So,
After that, I feel like it gets to the thing of favorites. I feel like if I were to ever even try to be in that realm of life, I would want to be your favorite or the favorite of your favorites. So it's just like that's like another thing, which is just like for me, I I wouldn't say that, oh, I'm just so jealous, blah blah blah. I wouldn't say that. It does exist inside of me like a normal person, but it's just kind of like I know like that would probably be a problem for me because I know like I like to analyze everything. Like that would be a thing for me. I don't know, and then I just feel like when I hear about it, I know this is just like so one-sided. I feel like it's always it just seems like in your situation it's like different because you are like committed to a female.
mm-hmm.
But I just feel like maybe it's just like men having, I don't want to say that.
Feel free to. This is what the
But I'm
podcast
just
is
gonna
about.
say it. I just feel like I'm so used to men, like, they want to feel like that dude. Like, they want to feel like, oh, yeah, that I don't want to give that to you.
Oh, like it's a flex to be able to be like, oh, this is my girl, but I get to fuck around type shit.
Yeah, because it's just like when you bring it up to your friends, even when I've heard about it, I've heard guys talk about how they're in that relationship, but it's like when they start to talk about like their partner, I don't sense the same energy. Like, and being that like I've studied like how people's whole brains work and stuff like that, I just feel kind of like, there's an inequality and I'm not for it. Like,
I feel like that kind of comes back to what Sparrow was saying earlier about you have people who are actively and honestly living a polyamorous lifestyle and people who are using the term polyamory to parade out and like mistreat people.
yeah, I just feel like that honest is below 50%.
Okay.
And that's why it's not for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because at least you know what you like, and at least you know what you want. And that's what's really important. Regardless of what relationship you choose, you gotta be honest with yourself first,
Definitely.
because you have to know what you want.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you want, you allow other people to tell you what you want, and then it's not living your true life.
I'm gonna flip the questions to you, Sparrow. Do you think, I know you're single now, but do you think down the line polyamory might appeal to you, or are you a monogamous type of person?
I feel just currently where I am in life, I would be open to it as far as the dating thing.
Okay, so I think that's a good place to stop, guys. Let's go ahead and run into the aftercare portion of the episode. So for those listening, just as a heads up, aftercare is we kind of sum up our like what we've learned, what like we're willing to share as like advice moving forward, things like that. Just a little self-care for those of us in the room and those of us listening. So I will kick off, guys. I hope you have learned that polyamory is defined by you and the people that you bring into your space. That you get to decide what's right for you and wrong, but that means you really have to be open and honest and have difficult conversations again and again and again. That this is not a easy, like glamorous lifestyle of like I'm just having sex everywhere. This is really about loving other people and respecting other people in the most like honest way you can. So
I feel like my afterthought portion would be just to make sure that you are communicating effectively. I feel like in relationships, we always expect another person to know what we're thinking or to know what we're feeling, or we always want to match another person's energy. I feel like the whole point of being in a relationship, whether it be friendships or whatever, is that you guys be who you are and you just mesh where you can, and you accept that other person for what all they are bringing and what they are not. Like wherever friendships, relationships, family, all of this whole thing, I know we were talking about the poly lifestyle, but just in general, everything's about love. You always want to add where someone's lacking if you can, but not to count that, not to judge that towards their heart. Like I feel like that's the whole aspect of relationship, because where you're lacking, somebody else is adding. I feel like that's the whole purpose. It's all a circle.
Cool. And my opinion on it is I think before you go into any type of relationship, whether it be monogamous or polyamorous, I think the best relationship to always go for is the one with yourself.
Mm.
You can be on a one-on-one relationship, but if you project your insecurities onto somebody, you project your traumas onto somebody, you project all your problems onto somebody, it's never going to work out. It doesn't matter if you do it with one or four people. Until you're right with yourself, you're never truly going to be happy. And that's what's really dependent of a relationship. Is how happy you can be with yourself that you can be happy with somebody else.
I like that. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. This was We're All Adults. I hope you catch us next week where we talk about threesomes and yeah. Threesomes is the next
Triple.
episode.
Threesomes. It should be
That's
exciting.
an interesting story.
All right.